got to go with that superstar when you're talking about the star, shining star. I know they heard the clean runs, but hey, they ain't gonna acknowledge that. They're gonna say about the simple players on the 50-yard line. But the score was 899 to 843. I just want to put that out there.
It's like we both came out with a motto this year without talking to each other. Kid came on the internet talking about he the standard. And I was like, oh my God, because we played Alabama State and we wore a shirt that said we was the standard.
When I came in the band, it was way, way, way more militant. People may say, Doc, you made the band soft. Well, yeah, I did make the band soft and let them know we got to love on each other because life too short not to.
Just your thoughts, and have you wrapped your minds around being the band of the year? Just what's it been like this last since everything ended? We'll start with Mr. Young, and then we'll go to Professor Snipes, and then Dr. Taylor.
Well, first of all, hello guys, how you all doing today? And congratulations to both of you. Your performances were amazing, and it's definitely inspiring to myself as well as my students. As far as Westlake is concerned, it's been a great feeling. This journey to winning the high school division of the band of the year didn't start this year. It started years ago. Nothing happens overnight and everything, but it's been really great for our kids. They've been really working hard. Our community has been working really hard, in supporting us, our administrators, our teachers, our parents. And when we got back to the school, I just let the kids know that we didn't accomplish this on our own. Okay, you put in a lot of work there on the field and in the band room, but it's about recognizing those who have supported us, who are behind the scenes and everything. So I think it's really good. It's going to be good for our program in the future. We got a recruiting push. I know the university band directors are recruiting, but it makes our programs even more attractive. So it's been really good for our program. It's been good for me. It's motivating. This is my 37th year of teaching. And the last few days, I've been getting up a little bit earlier without any strain. I've been motivated and ready to get back to this thing. As a matter of fact, I'm in Chicago right now, attending the Midwest Band and Orchestra Clinic. It's good to see my colleagues up here who are motivated as well. Thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome. We'll go with Professor Snipes. Obviously, you guys, were in the competition last year and won it all. I just remember it was a very emotional response from you last year. Still same this year. Just talk about for you guys what it's been like to, become the first band in this competition in year 3, to become the first band to repeat. What's that's been like for you guys, and maybe contrast it with last year.
I really haven't really put the thought into it, because when we returned, our kids left, and so I haven't had the time because I had to be in Tampa the next morning. But our students were dismissed from college before Thanksgiving. So we brought them back that Thursday, and all we did was work, and went to the competition. We had like 3 days of practice, and I'm gonna say by the rehearsals, it was a difference than the year before. I was seeing that the kids were comfortable, and that bothered me. So I added more show and more drill at the last minute, and so by them conquering that award, that tells me that they wanted it. Some bands get very comfortable because of the stage that they put on, or things they did from the past. Sometimes we respect programs for what the band was built on in the past. So, you know, we feel that because we are of this prestige, we don't have to do as much work. One thing I can say about the Miles College Band, even though we've been in existence since 1996, we're still like the new band on the block. And it's like we always have to create some type of avenue to prove ourselves at Miles College. Um, I'm just delighted to know that my band scoring and music was the highest, and to be on the stage with Southern and Fam, you know, those are childhood bands that I respect, you know, and for my band to be to play with the same type of intensity and drive that the other schools who've been doing this way before us, it says a lot about my students and my staff. So it's a win mentally for Miles. Is the trophy is cool to have, but the award that we really want is we not just another band that comes overnight. We are definitely one of the bands that other bands measure up to, you know, to build their programs to be like now. And you know, it comes with a lot of he said, she said, but by us winning it twice, it's like, okay, the first year wasn't a fluke, right, Dr. Young? You know, it wasn't a fluke. It's like, okay, these people are the real deal. Like now, you know, when we get on that schedule, you're gonna practice for us because you know that this is the standard. I think Dr. Taylor talks about the standard a lot. This is the standard of what D2 band is. And you know, and sometimes I get a little upset when we say D2 because I feel that Miles can compete with any band in the world. If you tell me the opponent, we gonna definitely perform to that level, if not better. That's just the workaholic in my staff and myself. So I think that what this meant for us mostly was it was proving that it wasn't a fluke. Like this is something that we do here at Miles College, and to the high school programs, it showed them that hey man, this might be something we need to check out because they repeating this history over and over, and you know, Mr. Young, he's been around a long time, and I've been watching him in his career, and I've seen some awesome things that he has done. But one thing that I can say in my career now, Mr. Young, is I'm not second in something. I'm finally first in something. You know, as always, I'm hearing, you know, Southern did this, Fam did this, A&T did this. But now, when you talk about this, Miles is going to be first. Like nobody could take that away from Miles, and that was just the proof in the pudding that we put in just as much work at the human jukebox, or you know, the Alabama State Marching Hornets, or the Alabama March Maroon and White. So now it's just on a national level. When you think about college band, now you just can't say the same 4 or 5 bands we've been saying for years. Now you have to include Miles. So I think that was just the biggest thing to show the world that we can do things and we can manage just like the D1 schools.
Right, no doubt. And then Dr. Taylor, you know, for you guys, kind of the opposite of what Professor Snipes was saying. I mean, obviously you guys' legacy from Dr. Greg's on has been, you know, there. And every time you guys step out, even without that title, people step their game up against you all. But just for you guys to come out on that national stage, and I don't know if you remember, you and I actually talked during the before the MEAC SWAC about you know, if this was something that you guys were shooting for, and you didn't exactly say it, but you know, you kind of put it out there, just to actually get through the year to get there, and then to see it all come together. What was that like for you on Friday night?
Well, you know, first off, good afternoon to you guys. Um, you know, it's definitely a privilege and honor. I never have this mindset that this happens to anybody. Like it's truly an honor and it's a blessing. So, you know, it's a testament of that God can use anybody, right? Never count anybody out, never say get too high or too low, right? Never be too high or too low. These students have been working hard. I mean, the legacy makes it even more difficult because having a band of this caliber, it makes it more difficult for the planning process because Southern Band has done everything. Like when you see clips of people doing different things, man, you like, man, we did this in this year, or we did this in this year, and it went, you know, it was very popular then. But you know, there's not a lot going on now with music. As I'm not gonna say the music's not good, but when we were in school, there were songs that came out that the whole world knew versus one genre of people knowing. Like, you know, Michael Jackson, everybody knew Mike, you know, and even if you want to go later, everybody knew Destiny's Child, Beyonce, you know, everybody knew Whitney. So those songs made it easier to program more so than now. Now it's like, you don't know what the audience want to hear these days. You take a chance, you know, you take a chance on what the audience want to hear. I know what I would like to hear if I'm in the audience. And I think that's the difference and the beauty of music, you know, being able to reach all audiences and being able to captivate whatever audience you're in front of and being able to just make them feel what you feel. And our students have a lot of emotion. We've been through a lot. I mean, we faced a lot of tragedy. We faced a lot of adversity. And, you know, if you ask me, we should have been there the first year. You ask me, we should have been there last year. You know, it's a testament of what I believe in my students and the work that I know they put in. But I never go back and say, oh, we got cheated or we got messed over or anything like that. I just say, hey, guys, these are the things we can do better. Mm-hmm. I always go put it back on the students. You know, I always say, look, had you all done this or done that, had we spent more time doing the small things, the details, because a lot of people see a picture, but I see the details in the picture. So even though we did a great job at this event, I saw the details, and I was more upset about the details of the things that I know we are better than. But I always say, you gotta know that there's gonna be adversity. It's how you overcome adversity. You know, I think about a championship team. Quarterback may throw an interception, but in the end, how did he persevere through that adversity that he faced by throwing that interception? So this was a teaching tool more than anything for me and my students. Hey, adversity may come your way, but just keep persevering, keep pushing through. And I think that for us, that's what this is all about. I think we've gotten to a point now as HBCU band directors where we get too serious with the competitive edge of it, more so than the educational side of making sure that our students are okay. So we put an emphasis on mental health. We did a national commercial on mental health because the students are suffering, right? So I would be horrible as a leader not to change my mindset on how we go about doing these things that we do on a day-to-day basis where we come here and do music and tell them to go home. Right? No, you got to think about the person in which you service, and those are the students. So to me, our process to get to Atlanta was not an easy one. And it wasn't even the music that made it hard. It wasn't the field shows that made it hard. It was the students in which we serviced that made it difficult. Encouraging a young person to continue to go on when they don't want to go on. You know, encouraging the young people to keep pushing when they like, I can't do it. Yeah, you can do it. You can do all things through Christ that strengthen you. So no matter what you may go through, gotta never bring us to something that he ain't gonna bring us through. So it was, for us, it was bigger. It was a bigger message behind all of it. And I was just happy to see them with so much joy. I don't think I've ever seen my students with that much joy. When I turned around, I was doing an interview and I was in tears because it meant more than just the trophy. It was about, man, people don't realize the things they say hurt people, you know. And man, Prof. Snipes talk a lot, and he always say, man, you know, I think this about your group, or I think this, and I'm like, well, hey, man, everybody have an opinion, right? Students look at what people say. I don't, because I'm not where everybody else is. And as a music educator, I know firsthand, you know, me and Mr. Young, we can sit there and talk music all day, and we can enjoy each other's group. We didn't have to go to the same school, you know, but we can appreciate what both groups bring to the table, just like Florida and them. very well respected group. And I told Prof Snipes, I say, man, every time you perform, you get all the house, man. You know, it's appreciation for what people do well. And Black excellence, we got to do better. Instead of tearing each other down, we got to lift each other up. Mm-hmm. And that's what I encourage. When I came in the band, it was way, way, way more militant. People may say, Doc, you made the band soft. Well, yeah, I did make the band soft, and let them know we got to love on each other because life too short not to. You know, we were like trained to just be like soldiers. And then we still training to be soldiers, but we teach them to love each other as well. So I think we as Blacks, we got to learn to love on each other a little more as well. So I think that's one of the things that, you know, as a music educator, our job is to continue to push those things.
Yeah, no doubt. You know, and we'll circle back around, but I'll start back with you again, Dr. Taylor. I definitely, you know, enjoyed all the bands, but definitely, you talked about the music and how the difference of the music is that when you talk about music education, I don't know how many of your students before they got to your band had heard the song Lately by Stevie Wonder, or maybe Casey and JoJo, depending. I don't know. You can tell me which version it was, but either way it goes. And that was like one of the things that I really enjoyed. I love. I'm not a band head by any, but I love music and I love the band. So I heard someone who lives down in Baton Rouge that hears the band practicing all the time say they heard you guys practicing that, but they hadn't heard it at a game or performance. Was that something that you kind of, in this type of events, you kind of have something that you keep in your back pocket, or is it just kind of work out like that?
My director of bands, the late great legendary Dr. Isaac Griggs, always told me educate and entertain. You know, when you go into a judge competition, you know, people you know the environment in which you're going to, right? And I wanted them to know that Southern University can do more than play with dynamics that say if, right? That's everybody think. But man, this band is very, very musical. We play a lot of music. And I wanted them to see that Southern band can be musical. And I'm a musician. I'm not a band head, band director. I ain't none of that. I'm a musician. I can go in any venue and be me. I don't got to change up who I am because music is, I'm me. I come from Pritchard, Alabama. And, you know, one of the things about it is every time I go anywhere, my job is to make it better. So I always say, look, I belong just like anybody else. Like Prof said, you know, he said, man, I don't look at it as a D2, you know, and I understand what he's saying. Like a lot of times people try to limit your ceiling, you know, they think you're capable of, or what they think you should be able to do, or what you can do. And it's not about proving anything to nobody, but it's about letting everybody know that there's room at the top for all of us. Never count anybody out. Never say somebody can't do something just because you haven't seen it. That don't mean somebody can't do it. So I want people to know that Southern band can do it all. Not just play with forte volume, or we could play in the piano range, because that's some bands that they talk about dynamics. You can play with dynamics, but that don't mean it sounds good. So I you know, I don't get off into the culture here at Southern University. We were built on the jazz band. This was a brass band, so it quite naturally they were going to play loud. It's going to sound loud. We didn't have as many woodwinds, but we do have woodwinds now, and they can play. I don't know if you heard them, but they can play. Not only just play in tune. You hear me? So our goal is to continue to enhance this legacy and brand. So I wanted to pull that lately out because it speaks to us. The old music, it just speaks differently. And I'm not saying the new music don't, but man, they had a lot of substance in that old music. That's why they had good food. Man, I always tell the band, some bands make soup, but me personally, I like gumbo. Gumbo got way more in it than soup. So I was thinking about the arrangement. I tell the students gumbo, and they like, we got you, doc, because I explained it in detail what the gumbo means. You want to be able to taste that flavor. Mm-hmm. When you talk about flavor, I don't want to taste too much salt, and I don't want to taste too much pepper. I want to taste it just right to where it's like, I don't know what's in this gumbo, but I know it's good. And that's what we think about when we talk about music. I want them to just be like, man, that stuff was good. When I get that compliment, I'm like, we did our job. When Julian White said, man, that Southern band, that's all I need to hear. Dog Taylor, that Southern band, that's all I want to hear when these guys that paved the way for us younger guys say the sound of that band made them just like, man, I ain't heard of a Southern band like that. To me, I don't care what nobody else say. They the ones that have been doing this for many years and they understand it at a high level. So that's what that was all about. And even on you ain't say Superstar with all the different color in it. So hey, look, that's that chicken and sausage gumbo, and then you got the shrimp gumbo, and you got the seafood gumbo. It's whatever one you want. And then that you got to go with that Superstar when you're talking about the star, shining star. I know they heard the clean runs, but hey, they ain't gonna acknowledge that. They gonna say about the simple players on the 50-yard line. But the score was 899 to 843. I just want to put that out there. But I'll leave that alone. Go ahead. Get me out
there. Okay. All right. We'll go with Professor Snipes. Again, I know that my partner, Tali Carr, down in Atlanta, I know he's just been raving about you for years, and you guys' rendition of Neck and how that is, stands alone and is unique in the HBCU culture. Kind of same question for you, like, did you guys pull some new things out for a show like this? I know a lot of times people, like coaches, like to give you the coach speaker. We're gonna do the same thing we do every week. But was your routine the same? And then talk to me just really quickly, as I've heard you say each of the 2 years that you guys have been in this, that you guys are winning without a band room. You don't have and maybe how that drives you guys to be innovative and push with all the other things we talked about.
Yes. Well, we only thing that's the same in our performance is the energy. High energy, explosive. That's kind of the way I use it when we talk about Miles Band. Coming out the end zone, that was created by Arthur Means Jr., our founder of the Purple March Machine. He brought the Death March inside of Talking Outside Your Neck. And sometimes people will try to compare it to Texas Southern. You hear that talk on the internet, but they don't know the history of it. But Mr. Means wanted the Death March with the Talking Outside Your Neck. And I think Texas Southern do something with Neck coming out the end zone, but it's a little faster groove. So the styles are different, but the song is the same. So I would like to say that out in public. So it's rough, man, sometimes. And nobody wants you to speak about it in public, right? And so I speak about it because I just hope that the right person hear it one day. Unfortunately, we not state funded. And so when we build buildings or we buy uniforms or we get instruments, it's always done by a fundraiser. That fundraiser could be from the president or it could be by the band director. And she wants me to have everything I need. But, at this time of life, man, it's just sometimes schools don't have it, especially private schools. So, with the work that we're doing, that we're not sorry and we're not making excuses. But in my career, man, I've been a band director now 20 years. I would like to experience how I feel to have a band hall. I would like to put Mr. Means' name on it. I would like to name the band room after some of the different directors over the years. And I would like to be the band director there when it happens, and my students, I think they deserve to have practice facilities and things like that. They're no different than a student at the University of Alabama. They got the same blood inside of them as anybody else. And I get frustrated, man, trying to figure out how can I make situations better. And I just personally, I don't have millions to give. If I had it, I sacrifice a lot of my personal money with the Purple March Machine, but I don't have the millions, but there are artists out there that have it. There's people who inherit it. There's people who got things that they can share. And I just pray that one day somebody hear this message And, they just pick up and say, hey, let's help Miles create this fine arts department so these students can get the same education as somebody who goes to North Texas. I just think my kids deserve that, bro. And I'm not gonna stop saying it, even if it get me terminated one day. I'm not gonna ever stop saying it. And maybe it would take that for somebody to hear it. So I'll be the sacrifice if need be, but I'm never gonna stop talking about it. I just feel like we've been in existence this long. It's time for us to get something in return when it comes to facilities. So with that being said, I use that to make it a teachable moment. I tell my students, um, you know, just because a car won't crank, you still got to go to school. You got to find a way to get to school. So that's just how my career been, man. I don't know. God put me in this situation because He knew I could just do it. But even when I taught middle school, I didn't have a band room. I had a classroom. I just never had a band room. I don't know what it is. Like, it's a Snipes curse, So I just want a band room, man. I want an office. I want things like that, like other band directors have when I visit their band rooms.
And I'll ask you this before I get to Mr. Young. You actually have had experience winning this competition. So now you repeat champions. What doors has it opened up any doors for you already, and what doors do you anticipate? Because again, you got like you said, you guys are the first one. Or what beyond that, kind of just how do you feel like this can help your program? Obviously, there's money that's involved with it, and kind of, how, just kind of how you see this moving forward with you guys now as the two-time band of the year.
Well, one thing that it did do, if you notice when we were in the end zone this year versus last year, we looked at completely different. That was the first time we were able to purchase uniforms in almost 12 years.
Mm.
So, schools usually get uniforms every 5 years. So it was a big difference in that, the way we look. I don't have to carry the water to the football field anymore. We bought an ATV. So now the band has the equipment to haul water and things and the ladder, all the things we used to walk to the field. Now we have a vehicle to take us to the field. And, that's a blessing because I'm getting older. And we had students with balances, and we were able to help some of the students out with their balances with this money, because not only you receive the money from ESPN, but people who hear your story, they'll donate. A lot of people didn't know Miles had those type of problems in the band department, because our football team is champions, our basketball team is champion, the girls and boys, the golf won a national championship. Like, we're a school of champions. So a lot of people think we just have. And so, so it was in the end zone this year. We had on one of the most expensive HBCU band uniforms that's ever been made. So that was awesome. We looked better than everybody, Um, Another thing, it has opened the doors for national exposure and attention. ESPN is national, and so I have people. Okay, I went to Tampa Saturday morning. I was on the airplane, and this lady walked up to me like, "Hey, you the band director that's on TV yesterday?" A lady I'd never seen in my life. So it opened those type of doors. It's a gift and a curse for people to know you, but that it opened those type of doors. Winning it twice, it's just just to be in history as the first band to ever do it. Because Southern University might sneak in there again next year, and they may repeat, and we may not go next year. Even though he repeated, he's second. Everybody's second. So the next band is fighting for second place. Miles will always be first unless somebody three-peat. That might be me. It might be us. We might three-peat if they allow it. But I think ESPN has been great to us. We're gonna try to purchase a 18-wheeler, and so we can put our instruments, because we all have a lot of tubas and percussion, and that equipment don't fit on the bus all the time. So we're gonna try to bounce an 18-wheeler and wrap it with this money, and I'm excited about that. So we'll see how that go, and the money that we have left, we'll purchase championship rings for the students.
Awesome. That's amazing. And then, Mr. Young, You guys in that metro Atlanta area is such is known as a feeder for so many different bands, including a lot of the HBCUs. Um, for you as a band director, what type of doors do you anticipate this opening? I'm sure after the other day, there are other band directors that are probably beating you guys' doors down about your students. But just how for them to compete and then win and then have a chance to see these other bands play, what do you think that meant to them, and how do you think that will, compel them moving forward?
Well, I think it's going to definitely help our program. We've been blessed to have students to matriculate at a lot of HBCU universities and PWIs and receive scholarship awards. And I think this is going to open even more doors. I'm up here in Chicago, and I've happened to see colleagues on the flight here to Chicago and just walking around here in the conference center. I guess a few more people recognized me, and they actually, reached out and congratulated us. And many of them were our university band directors. And of course, we are exchanging information, numbers, and email addresses and everything. So I think overall it's good for our kids. I think there's no way we could have paid for this type of attention, especially on a high school band, having 10 minutes of a performance on ESPN, national television. That's priceless for us. Typically, our shows, halftime shows, are probably no more than 8 minutes. But in order to have 10 minutes of television time, free, you have the Macy's Day Parades, you have all these different national parades, but none of the bands get a chance to sing. Maybe a few of them for 10 minutes. And to have the high school programs like New Manchester did an outstanding job, and with Westlake having these eyes for 10 minutes, I think this is really incredible. In addition to our students really hearing these university bands up in their faces, really hearing the impact of that brass sound and percussion and so on is definitely motivating for our students, and it's also good for our parents. Also, they kind of see these bands on YouTube or Instagram, but to hear these bands up in front, and also get a chance to see these band directors who have these outgoing personalities, face to face, and actually talk to them is really great, as well as our students, instrumentalists, as well as our auxiliary units. So it was really great. And I want to add one more thing. Why I think this event is so good is kind of forced me to feature my drum line. My drum line's been wanting to be featured for years, but I had to do it this year, and I'm so glad that I was kind of forced in to do that. I think it's really good for our program, as well as we haven't had flags since I've been at Westlake, but since this we've been adjudicated. I said, I need to get these points the best way we can. So we went out and got some flags. And I think it's good for our young ladies and our dancers to not just sit on the sideline and just wait to dance, but we kind of gave them an opportunity to do some other things. So I know I've kind of going all over the place, but these are just some things that I just, I had to say, since I have, this platform. And also for band director, high school band director, of course, I have college band experience. I was at Clark Atlanta University for 7 years, from '98 to 2005, and we really had some great experiences, being featured in the movie Drumline, the McDonald's commercial, another movie, Pay the Price. But for high school band directors to have this, like this interview that I'm having right now, is really, really great. And I do have aspirations of being a university band director at some point. I don't know when, maybe soon, maybe later, but we'll see. So this is really good for me, as well as my students at Westlake. Thank you.
Awesome. And then I'll go around. We'll start Mr. Young, then to Professor Snipes and then finish up with Dr. Taylor. Any last words or anything you want folks to know about, what you guys do, or just any final thoughts as we kind of wrap this up and celebrate you all as Band of the Year in your respective categories?
Yes, well, Westlake, we have the marching band, but we have jazz program. We have symphonic band. All of them are doing well. We played at national conferences and so on and so forth, and play superior ratings at the symphonic band performance evaluation. So I think the success of all of our programs comes from other programs, our concert band programs, as well as our jazz band programs. As our marching band programs are always highlighted, but I just want to let everyone know that these high school programs, I know here all across the United States, are really preparing our students for the next level. And I'm looking forward to participating in the ESPN Red Lobster Band of the Year again on next year. As a matter of fact, I'm making plans already. I can't sleep. I'm still thinking about what we're going to play next.
Sounds good.
And yes, but thank you. It's been a great experience. First class operation. Thank you.
Congratulations, Professor Snipes. Any last words for us?
I want to be messy before I get off the phone.
Go ahead.
Uh-oh.
So I heard Cedric Young say he want to be a university band director again. So I got a guest room in Alabama. I'm gonna leave it right there.
Thanks a lot. I'm from Talladega, so I already got a house there, but I hear exactly what you're saying, and I can appreciate it.
My house look closer to a certain place, but I'm gonna leave it right there.
All right, thanks a lot.
And that'd be my prayer.
Yes.
I would like for the students that's reading or watching, I would like for them to use Miles College not as a band, but a testimony that the underdog is never, ever counted out, like Dr. Taylor said. It's been several times that Miles Band has been in the stadium with Southern and Florida A&M and Texas Southern, Jackson State. And I don't know if you remember 2017 when Miles left the field after my mother passed away. We got like a 15-minute standing ovation. I don't know if y'all remember that. It was one of the most powerful HBCU moments in band ever. And I was in the program with Tennessee State and all these different big bands, and we turned out and had that gospel show. And then, I may not say nothing, but I watch some of the SWAC bands. They watch Miles Band because I see it because I created it. So when I look around, sometimes I say, dang, we did that at Miles. And sometimes we don't get the credit because we don't have the big viewing as some of the other bands. But I know where it came from because I created it. So even some of the bigger schools are watching Miles. But that's a testimony to our lives that sometimes something that's small as a pumpkin seed may enter, the conversation. And I feel that we've been that pumpkin seed all my career. So for the student who think they can't do it, let Miles be your testimony that it can be done. It's just been wonderful. My career at Miles, if it ended today, I exceeded expectations. So I'm okay with whatever the outcome is in the future. But I do know this, Miles College is definitely a brand name, and it's not because of me. It's because God did something in the program. When Mr. Mean started this in 1996, I don't know if he thought that this band would make it this far. And I hope you write this part. I'm quite sure that my mentor, Mr. Means, is smiling down at the Purple March machine because he got to see the machine grow before he passed away last year. He got to see us grow, and he wrote me a card. He said, Willie, you took it further than I could take it. And then to be under James Merriweather, who was, he had a stroke, unfortunately. But some reason he believed in everything I said also. So, please write this in your article. these performances are for people like Mr. Means and James Merriweather, who helped foster this program and gave me the knowledge and the lead way to take it to the next level. So this band is definitely the underdog. Like I always say, people always down it. And Mr. Taylor talked about something that was touchy to me because I'm always the tail end of the joke when it comes to Miles Band. And it's crazy because Miles Band and Southern Band, I told Mr. Taylor just the other day, we are the Southern of the SIAC, and he's the Miles of the SWAC. These bands are always the bands that can't make mistakes. It's funny because I watch bands, I'm not going to call names, but I watch bands make mistakes. And people are like, oh, they're young or they just had a bad performance. But if Southern make a mistake or Miles make a mistake, it's the talk of the world. And really, you know, I hope I can say what I want to say. Like, up to the point these people can go to hell because nobody band is perfect. I can tell you flaws in everybody band. Make me a judge and let me talk about it. If we don't go next year, make me a commentator so I can talk about what I see, you know, because a lot of these bands make mistakes. But when Southern University make a mistake, I try to be the first person to call Ked before he see it and say, hey, bro, it's okay. And, you know, he sang verse with me. It's like, we both came out with a motto this year without talking to each other. Kid came on the internet talking about he the standard. And I was like, oh my God, because we played Alabama State and we wore a shirt that said we was the standard. So, you know, we didn't come up with that together. But we definitely catch ourselves talk about the same things. But the Black community of HBCU is almost gotten to the point that it's cyberbullying. Because the kids read that stuff. And, you know, I have kids that come in the band room like, Miss Knight, did you read this? Did you see this? And a lot of it don't be factual or it's just a kid made a mistake. And they act like it's the end of the world. But at the same time, when you have events, the first thing you want to do is get Miles on the ticket, get Southern University on the ticket. And these be the same people that be talking about us. So when we get to these events, what happened is me and Ked sitting there talking, and then here come the person who talks about us on the internet saying, can I take a picture with you? And, you know, me and Ked, we kind of eye each other, you know, we take the picture because we got to, you know, I hate this about being a professional. They want you to stay professional, but sometimes professionals kicked out the door because some of the things that they say, if you said this to me just at a restaurant, it wouldn't be the same interacting. Like the interaction will be different. And people play with your name. You know, I don't have nothing in life but my name. They'll play with your name. They'll play with your brand. They'll try, like the thing they did with Southern. All these things, all this wonderful stuff Southern did. A similar player got out of line. It was the end of the world. Like they should have won because one person made a mistake. But nobody talked about the sound of Southern University Band. Like I walked over to Ked. I said, boy, the way you sound is going to get you over. And he just looked at me. He said, you think so? I said, man, I know so. Because average judge is not looking at the feet of the band. I'm just being honest with you. The average judge is listening to the band and the formation at the end, how the formation locks in. I've been a judge for a long time. If that band don't sound good, we can't go further. You know, Cedric got a jazz band. If they're not bebopping or moving the correct way, that judge is not going to get them a superior. That's just the way it goes. So, you know, all that good that Southern did, nobody's talking about it. They tried to find flaws in that beautiful orchestra that we heard. And when I say orchestra, I mean I heard the bass, I heard the tenor, the alto, and the soprano. I heard all those voices come. Them trumpets played lately at the end. Shit. Who didn't hear? And you know what I'm saying? My trumpet did a great job, but he got some super trumpets. You know what I'm saying? So it's just the thing that nobody's talking about that. So I'm so happy to hear Ked on this interview talking his shit. Like I'm good job, Ked. Like that's what I've been looking for years. Like let these people know who you are, man. You a king. Like, bro, you have did something in Southern band history that people may not ever want to talk about, but your band is so balanced and big. Like the sound of the band is big. And it is FFF at times, but I hear all the different qualities of instrument. Like you did that, Doc. And like, be proud of it, man. Like be proud of it. And Cedric Young, I ain't got nothing to say to you because, bro, you've been awesome all my years. I was at Miles when you was at Clark, and I got called to the office because I said these people kicking our ass. You see what I'm saying? You guys played an NEI song. You remember that? Y'all played against Miles. We couldn't even respond. Man, we was stunned when you played that. So the musician that you have been all my life, bro, like I appreciate that. So don't, man, talk y'all trash. Like, y'all not second to nobody. Like, these three people on this phone, if we ever got on the staff together, the world will be in trouble, right? So let these people talk they junk, you know, and let's do what we do at a high level. But we got the HBCU game day. You got to put something together that let people know that it's okay to congratulate the next man. I don't know if y'all saw when they called Miles for the win. I walked up to Fayetteville State Band Director and I embraced him and I hugged him. And I told him in his ear, I said, bruh, you done everything right. It's okay to say people are good. Please write this stuff down. This don't write the hype. We have torn the culture up to the point sometimes I don't even want to be around it. That's why I'm not at Midwest. I don't want to be around it. Because the negativity that comes from the culture, it's not fun anymore. I seen a picture of Isaac Greggs. I'm a band fanatic. I ain't just go to Miles. I'm going to leave y'all with this. I seen a picture of Isaac Greggs. Kids, stop me if I'm telling a lie. And maybe you need to find this picture and put it in your document when you post this. But Isaac Gregg had on a Grambling State University Letterman jacket on a picture. He was the band director at Southern University, but he had a Grambling State jacket on. If I put on a Southern University jacket today and take a picture, I'll be dead to the band world. We cannot love each other like that because we have created a hate mentality in the HBCU, and it's not cool. And we need to find a way to say, hey, Southern University did a great job. I appreciate you. Westlake, you did a wonderful job, and I appreciate you. And when you say stuff like that, it needs to be keen and it needs to be genuine, not just finding problems with the organizations.
All right. Thank you, Professor Snipes, and then Dr. Taylor.
Well, these guys, they brought it home. I don't know what to say. But seriously, in all seriousness, man, Prof. Snipes said a lot of words. He said a lot of words, but he said a lot of things that had a lot of meaning. And I appreciate it. I'm not one that talk a lot. I just always show up and do what we do. So I usually don't talk a lot. And my pastor said something that was profound. Early on in the season, Prof. Snipes called me and he was just, we got the most comments and the most likes, but it was for the wrong reason early in the season. We saw Alabama State. And everybody didn't say nothing about the halftime show. What HBCU band used to be built on, halftime. Nobody said nothing about halftime. Nobody said nothing about during the game, pregame. They said something about one song in the fifth quarter. And they made that like, I told the legacy down at Southern University. And the university was kind of confused, like, what we missed? And I like, don't worry about that. I said that to say, my students read that stuff and they were reading it, and a testament to what Prof's saying. Words hurt when they are not uplifting, and we tearing people down. Even like LeBron James, I look at how some of the commentators go at him so hard, but it's like when the man gone, they like they miss him. You got to have an appreciation. You don't have to be his favorite. You don't have to be a fan of LeBron, but you got to respect the game that he has played. Oh, well, he played more years than Jordan. Well, that's not his fault. Like, he's not going out saying I'm better than Jordan. He's only going out being a ball player. And so I look at that with the directors. I know for a fact what we're doing here, we're not going, I've never ever said I'm better than Dr. Isaac Greggs. I've never said I'm better than any director that has came before me. As a matter of fact, I respect the directors that came before me. I respect
the people that I was here with, because I'm gonna say this, and I want this to be publicized because I haven't got on my own page. When I came here in 2014, I came here with another director that's at Texas Southern, Mr. Simmons. You got 2 head band directors that was on the staff. And, a lot of people always say the head band director is the one that make things happen, but it's the surrounding that you have, your staff, that make you great. And people forget that when they talk about, oh, they need to bring this person back. To do what? Bring that person back up. For what? When Doc left, they was talking about Mr. Jackson. When Mr. Jackson left, they was talking about Mr. Hamer. Now that Mr. Hamer gone, now they talking about me. As long as you living, somebody's gonna have something to say. But I don't let that bother me because I know who I am and whose I am. So I don't let that bother me in the sense of discrediting who I am as a musician and who I am as an educator. I always try to remember the positive thing. They were like, if somebody's not talking about you, that means you ain't doing something right. If they talking about you, that means you're doing something right. So I know we're doing something right because we in everybody's mouth. Everybody talking about Southern University Band, and it don't have to be good. But that event was 20-some thousand people there to see these events. So y'all guys, they came to see a show, and you gave them a show. Whether they liked your show or not, they were there to see your show, right? They paid to come and see the work that you all have done and the work that we all have done. And that's what speaks volume to me. Every battle we go to is packed. But Southern ain't good. But why you watching it? I never watched a movie that I didn't like. I don't know if y'all, I never went to a church and heard a pastor that I didn't like. Those members that go and like, I can't wait till he leave. Well, why are you there? If you don't like the church, just leave. If you don't like the band, don't watch it. It's simple. But that lets you know that they really like what they see. But like Prof said, they hate to acknowledge it because we got some fans that probably go too far. But I can't control what people say. When they like, oh, we the Kings. If y'all know what it takes to get these kids to even learn to be flat concert scale today, y'all will be calling us more than Kings. Because it's not like it used to be. We had a drive to practice. We didn't have social media. We had a drive to want to be good on our instrument. Nowadays, these students want to be good to see how much money y'all broke college HBCU bands gonna give them. They don't ask the PWI how much you're gonna give me. They just be happy to be a part of it. Oh, y'all gonna let me in the school? I'm happy. But Southern, how much you gonna give me? We broke. But nah, man, we making strides to provide for our students, but we shouldn't be looking at this thing as a win or loss. It should be a win for everybody. And I'm glad that they did this because it just makes everybody want to work harder. It gives everybody a reason to do the right thing the right way. And not lose the culture. Because I see it shifting a little bit, and I just refuse to conform to the shift. But I don't think we teach AAU band. We teach bands of institutes that of higher learning. So when you think about where we are as musicians, guys, we supposed to continue to raise the bar with music. So these kids can go and play on any stage professionally. So I teach my students to play in tune. I say, I don't care how loud we play, long as it sounds like one big section. I don't care how soft we play, long as I hear the section and not individuals. And what you heard from the Southern University Band is the students buying into the things that we are teaching. So that's all I care about. Oh, Southern sound too nice. Oh, thank you. They're like, we got boxing gloves on. We don't have on boxing gloves. We playing instruments. I ain't never got in a car and said, man, my stereo system don't have enough static in it. One of our alums said, man, sometimes I think guys want us to sound like white noise. Now you take that to the bank and catch. Now it's gonna go over a lot of people's head. But man, music is shaped, music is formed. And as people, we are the ones that originated that stuff, man. Why would we go and damage what our ancestors created? Mm-hmm. Now that's deep. But a lot of people are going to miss it because we keep talking about the culture. The culture is us doing it the right way. Mm-hmm. The culture is what kept us together, rooted and grounded in the right stuff. That's the culture of us as HBCU, because we didn't have an opportunity like everybody else. So we were never privileged to say, oh, we got the opportunity to go and play on platforms like ESPN. We didn't get that privilege. So to have that opportunity, the most HBCU bands played on was BT. That's all we got. So now to get the opportunity to get a seat at the table for ESPN, to let the world see what we've been doing for years, because these bands been playing at high level for many years, but we just continue to add to it. That's what our job is as educators today. I'm not trying to change the legacy of Southern. I'm not trying to change anything about Southern University, but I do want to continue to add to the legacy. I want to continue to add to what has been set in stone before me. Doc would say this, and I'm going to leave y'all with this. The tallest building will tumble down if it's not rooted on solid ground. Where there's no solid foundation, you can't build upon. We have a solid foundation, and our job is to continue to just build on that foundation. So I thank you all for this opportunity. It's a humbling experience for me, but I vowed to do what God set me aside to do, and that's my purpose and the plan, to let and encourage other young people to see. I took the long ride. I didn't have a easy ride to where I am. A lot of people don't know my story, and that's fine. I don't have to tell my story, but the people that have watched my journey, they know that this wasn't given. But to any young musician, man, the race not given to the swift nor the strong, but the one who endures to the end. It don't matter how long it takes you to get there, as long as you keep running your race. Run your race, and I promise you, in the end, you will be victorious. And that's for every HBCU band director, every director, period, not just HBCU, anybody. Run your race, and you'll be amazed at where the end results will take you.